Our specialist aviation team began in 2006. We act for crew, pilots, passengers, bereaved families of aircraft accidents and incidents all around the world. After an aviation accident, passengers or bereaved families of victims of aircraft accidents, they want truth, they want answers, and they also want justice. They'll be involved in a number of different processes, including an inquest, potentially criminal investigations, the air safety investigation, and also further down the line, the civil claim for compensation.
The first of those processes is the air safety investigation, and that will automatically begin after an aviation accident anywhere in the world and is mandated by international law that goes all the way back to 1944. That investigation is a slow and careful process that can take many years to complete. In the recent Leicester City Football Club helicopter accident, it took 5 years to complete when undertaken by our English Air Accident Investigation branch. The process is a hard one for families, particularly because they're not involved. They're excluded from that investigation, and that's a real unfairness in international law. The process is for the purposes of safety and not blame under the law, but it tells the family a great deal about what happened. Main parts of our role is to help them understand exactly what happened on that day.
International carriage by air is governed by international treaty, and the most recent of those international treaties is the Montreal Convention. And the Montreal Convention will provide a framework within which claims can be brought, including liability. There's a strict liability system, and there's a 2-tier process within that convention.
Aviation liability treaties are just the start. When we're looking at an accident, generally accidents in aviation don't just happen because of one failure. It's a sequence of failures that all lined up to make an accident happen, and each one of those failures can result in a different party being responsible. So we could be looking at manufacturers of the aircraft, of a subcomponent, air traffic control, maintenance. If you had, say for example, an airline that was particularly bad and was on the European Union blacklist, then you could be looking at maybe an employer or a lessor who had leased this aircraft negligently to this airline, or even maybe a broker who hadn't passed on material information about the airline to an insurer when it was first being insured. And our job is to really understand all of those possible potentially liable parties and all of the many different countries that they might be liable in, what that means for the families in terms of their civil compensation, and then negotiates in order to resolve their claims at the best level and best level of compensation for them.
Aviation insurance and reinsurance is often through Lloyd's of London, and we find that we work against the same lawyers instructed by the aviation insurers time and time again. We know who we're dealing with.
And it's not just airlines accidents in which we're instructed. We act for passengers and families of victims of aircraft accidents on anything that flies. So that could be airlines, but it could also be private jets or helicopters. It could be gliders, skydivers, it could be paragliders, or even hot air balloons. And as we look towards the future and new technology, that is only going to increase in the types of accidents that we get involved in. So we could see drone accidents, eVTOL accidents, advanced air mobility accidents, or even space tourism.
Losing a loved one in an aircraft accident is the worst thing that can possibly happen. We're here to help, to hold your hand, to guide you through the processes that you'll find yourself involved in, and ultimately to obtain the best possible outcome for you.